Shall we begin? Shall we begin? You know, I had so many people come in my DM. Yo, you should take that video down. Yo, I'm afraid for your safety. Let me tell y'all something, right? The one thing in this world that's universal is pain. I'm going to say it again. The one thing in this world that's universal is pain. In the hood, it's filled with pain. You sit up there, you ask yourself a question. Why are so many young boys in the hood so angry? What would make a young boy in the hood go and pick up a gun and throw away his whole life? And why is it so many young boys in the hood that's angry? Why is it that they're going to jail with baby faces and coming home with gray beards? It's because they ain't got no fathers. Some things I'm very, very passionate about. I'm very, very passionate about. Especially, I know the hurt and the pain that I've been through when I went through when I didn't have my father. Growing up and I'm sitting up there wondering, where's my father? Why he's not there? Why he don't love me? It ain't never went away. As men, we just push it to the side. And you know, we just got to chuck it up. Right? See, with me, I ain't got no smoke and no beef with Preem and Prince. But then again,
due to recent events, the elevation to a place of peace and rest for my brother and friend, Irv Gotti, and the buffoonish display of my son, Kyle Robeson, I am forced to make a public statement in defense of Irv and his family. I do not indulge in idle chit-chat. When I speak, I have something to say. Kyle Robeson does not speak for Irv or Irv's family, nor does he speak for me or my nephew, Gerald Prince Miller. I was disgusted when I heard about the things he said as far as representing Irv's family. I regret having to take these steps, exposing his lies and fraud. But as a man, you call out those who make inappropriate or false statements. No one gets a pass. I would not be who I am if I favored him simply because he's my son. He is my son, and I love him. But I will never condone or associate with his conduct and behavior on the internet. I let him know men don't argue and beef behind a mic on the internet. Real men move in silence. He had a choice, me or the net. He made his choice. And until he forsakes the clown show, which is the internet, I will never speak or associate with him, especially when he makes veiled threats talking about we. Who is we? Prince and myself do not promote threats of violence. We different. We are masters of self-defense. If you ain't talking about positivity or growth and goals, keep your mouth shut. That goes for everybody. Rest in peace, little bro. And mourn in peace the entire Lorenzo family. If a person refuses to learn, leave that person alone. I gotta go.
Key words. Never speak or associate with his son again. He will never speak or associate himself with his son again. The son that he was never there for. He just basically told the wolves in the streets that he just left his son for dead. Do y'all know that little Preem just heard his father say that he loved him for the first time on the internet? I love you, but I think I gotta let you go. Huh? Scooby-Dooby-Doo? How do you spank your son on the internet when you never even gave him a hug? How do you tell your child that you divorce him when you wasn't there when the doctors brought him to his mother? You know, the first one to hold the baby is not the mother. In the hospital room, the first one to hold the baby is the father. How do you get rid of a son that you didn't feed? You didn't burp. You didn't change his diaper. This shit ain't just a video with me. This is personal. How do you turn... When I was in jail and I left my firstborn son, I cried many a nights. And the only thing I could think of was getting back home to my son. How do you turn your back on a child? How do you spank a child on the internet when you've never been to his birthday party? How do you explain never in your life attending your child's first, second, and third, no graduation? He's never been to any of his children's graduations. How do you distance and cut your child off forever over the internet when you didn't raise him to walk and talk like a man? The fact that it is so easy for him to turn his back on his children, his child, is disturbing to me. This is something that I would die for. Because it's pain. And it's but so much you can take. All these little boys running around in the hood acting crazy. The teachers is diagnosing them with ADHD. It's not ADHD. It's the fact that they ain't got daddy. You hear that sound? Daddy. Daddy. And when the children hear they daddy say, yes, what? What do you want? It gives that feeling that daddy's there. Prince nor Preem. Neither one of you dudes was never there. How dare you? What is the audacity of you to turn your back? You know how little Preem felt? You know how little boys feel? When they go to their graduation and they looking in the crowd and you just got this lost look in your face because even though that your mother's sitting right there, daddy ain't there. Daddy was never there. Daddy chose the streets over his child. And even now, as a grown man making little boy moves, you chose the streets again. I'm not trying to hear none of you old heads that married the streets, that thought y'all was being stand up. Y'all had a choice. Y'all knew y'all had a woman in the house. And that baby was driving her crazy. But y'all chose the streets. And in the streets, in the real world, there can only be one Highlander. It's either going to be the penitentiary, the streets, or your family. You can't have them both. And you dudes chose the streets. And then got nerve and the audacity to show no remorse, no animosity. No remorse, no sorrow for leaving behind your legacy, your bloodline, in the black community. The bloodline doesn't mean anything. The child isn't sacred. The child isn't sacred. Preem don't think he did enough for Irv Gotti? I don't care what none of you old heads have to say that's older than me. Your generation destroyed my generation, and y'all proud of it. See, I don't care about snitches. How the internet is going crazy about who snitched and who didn't snitch. It's just a story to me. But what hurts me, Daddy, there's nothing worse than a child being born and something in his heart is feeling empty. And that emptiness is never going to have a fulfillment. But that fulfillment that it may have comes in the form sometimes of an evil stepdad. And sometimes the stepdad ain't even evil. He's just a pretender. Because these women, they run through many men. Many men wish death upon me. Yeah. A lot of these men, they call themselves lions, right? They're the king of the jungle. But did y'all know that the lions, when they meet a lioness, they come in and they kill all the cubs? That's why I don't call myself a lion. They come in and they kill all the cubs, then they have their own children. What you think little boys in the hood go through? Why do you think the young boys, there's a rift in between? Why the young boys hate the old heads? Because the old heads was never there, and the old heads was supreme and prince. You know what's crazy, right? Yo, I'm so hard on Jim Jones and Mano because of the way they maneuver on the internet for these young boys. But I gotta say it, I gotta take my hat off, and I gotta give it to a nigga. Yo, Mano, one thing I say, my boy, what I see, you and Jim Jones, both of you niggas, man, one thing I see with both of you niggas, I be looking in the background and I be analyzing and I be feeling so proud. And I gotta say, Mano, I gotta say it to you and Jim Jones. On this right here, I put my life on it. I don't think you'll ever hear Mano get on the internet and disown his son like that over something so petty. It's one thing to check him. It's another thing to tell the wolves, I ain't got nothing to do with him. Whatever happens, happens. And anybody that's cool with that, you ain't kin to me or you ain't a friend to me. Shout out to all the fathers out there. That your children know. Don't call my daddy. Don't call my daddy. If you call my daddy, it's going to be a problem. Ain't nothing in the world with a child having confidence in knowing, I might not get along with dad because he's chasing my boyfriend away and he won't let me have a boyfriend, and mom, he's getting on my nerves. But if I call my daddy, my kids know daddy ain't perfect. But when it come to them, there's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for mine. Nothing. So I don't want to hear nothing about these old heads, the death threats, how they feel. Yo, you violation. He was in violation of every black boy in America when he sat up there and disowned his son. You can't spank a child. You cannot spank a child that you ain't never hugged. Nobody ain't teach y'all the rules. You can't discipline and spank a child that you never hugged. Could you imagine for the first time in your life hearing your father say, I love you on the internet? But I think I gotta let you go. Because you offended street niggas. Internet, you disowned your son over the internet? You sent a roll call out to the wolves and told a little boy that grew up by himself that once again, he's by himself. And this is what you call, or who y'all call a stand-up nigga? My kids know when it come down to daddy, I will cross how Monica say, I will cross the ocean for you. You got Mexicans swimming through swamps, crossing oceans, climbing fences, breaking over borders to give their sons and daughters a better life. And then you got these niggas in prison standing on pride, street integrity, hood principles. Whatever happened to the family?